Hello, good people, and thank you so much for checking out my channel. It's your girl Kina. I hope you've been having a great day. All right, so I'm going to recap Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is their reunion. This was the third part. I skipped the second part because it's boring without Mary. It's really boring. So this is their third part, and this was the last one. So I tuned in. This is the part where Andy got to the nitty gritty as far as putting Jen and her husband in the hot seat regarding the case that she has coming up about her stealing from the elderly people. All right, so they started out with Lisa on the sofa trying to apologize still to Meredith. During the season, Lisa, she got really upset with Meredith, and she was in the room with her mic on, and she started talking about how Meredith had slept with with all of New York, half of New York or something like that. So she pretty much was calling Meredith a hoe and saying that she had been sleeping around on her husband, and that Meredith's husband did not keep a job, and that's why they did not own a home, and that's why they move around from place to place. So she really had went in on Lisa went in on Meredith's family, Meredith and her family, while she still was wearing her mic. So Meredith, she just learned about this prior to coming to the reunion. And of course, she is not liking it at all. Who would appreciate their friend of over 10 years talking about them like that? Even if you knew this lady for sure was sleeping around with all those men, how could you just put her business out in the streets like that? So Lisa, she's been so apologetic, telling Meredith over and over she's sorry. And she even gave her the sorry behind excuse that she only did that and she was upset with Meredith because she heard Meredith had been talking about her home renovations, and she had and said that Meredith said her home renovations were ugly. Girl, really? That was so dumb. I don't even know why she even said that. So I don't know if they'll ever be friends again. And I mean, maybe they'll try to be cordial for the show, but as far as like being friends in real life, we're supposed to have a forgiving heart. And I can understand if Meredith forgive her, but I wouldn't forget, and I would not deal with that heifer. She would probably never ever drive on my street. I don't even want to see her on the freeway. So that was crazy. So they also have the guys to come on the set. So like all the husbands show up, and Seth, he's remote because I guess he was quarantined. They didn't go into exactly what was going on with him, but he was remote, but he was there. So of course, one of the things that Andy asked Seth was what he thought about the things that Lisa had blurted out about Meredith sleeping with half of New York. And so Seth, he was really funny about it. He was like, well, she forgot to mention that I slept with the other half. So that was kind of funny. And my whole thing was like, Meredith and Seth, they said on the show, they said it on the show that they both had been with other people. So it's like their marriage must be open, or they open it up and maybe they close the door for a little while or something like that. I don't know, but they seem to be okay with it. So that's those people business. So who would care? I don't care. Anyway, so all the other stuff with the guys, it was boring, except for when they got to Jen and Coach Shaw. So they did ask Coach Shaw about what was going on that day that the SWAT team came to pick Jen up. Was he the one who really was on the phone with her? Did she really get a call about him being ill? And he said that it just so happened that same day that he was being examined or something like that. And he did have some type of bleeding. It sounded like he said he had rectum bleeding, and it was a lot of blood, and so it was where he definitely needed to go to the hospital to get himself checked out. And that's when his assistant called Jen to let her know. And so they're saying that's what really happened, and that's the phone call that Jen got when she was on the bus getting ready to go to Vail before the SWAT team came in. And so he stated that was what was going on, and it was like, so you didn't call to give her a heads up? And he was like, no, because he didn't know anything about it. The only thing he knew was that he was having a health problem and he had to go to the hospital. That he never did speak to Jen. He got a call later on about the SWAT people being at his home and about Jen being arrested. So that was his part on that. And Andy also asked him, okay, well, did you never question where Jen was getting all this money from, with the way she spent all the lavish things that she have? And Coach Shaw, he was just like, well, his wife's been working for over 20 years, that she's always worked. Man, I've been working for over 20 years too. And let me tell you, if I had a closet full of Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all that lavish, expensive stuff, and not only that, because I mean, if you're good at catching sales, you can catch a sale. But not only that, she was throwing $80,000 parties. Like, come on. And then you guys don't even own a home, from my understanding. So it just don't add up. It's just too lavish. And then like all the other women were wondering the same thing, like, where is she getting all this money from? And so, but that's the way he answered the question, stating that his wife worked for all those many years. And then she also brought up about him having 3 degrees, and how he was a lawyer for like 13 years, and he's a coach. And yeah, he's a coach and he's getting paid very well. Yet and still, that's a lot of money you were spending, Jen. That's a lot of money that was being spent. And the coach also made a statement that a lot of things that she owns, she's been owning them for years. Nah, that stuff looked brand new. No, she probably has a lot of stuff in the closet that she's been accumulating. Yet and still, she had a lot of brand new stuff. So nah, it was nah. I ain't believing it. No, 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 no. So that's pretty much the way they try to wrap things up. And Coach Shaw pretty much said in a nutshell that he's there. He's going to support his wife. He's going to be there for her, which is a good thing. And Andy even asked a question about if they ever had any infidelity in their marriage, and they both answered no. So maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Don't know. So Jen, I don't know why she did this from the first season. This is only their second season, but just like on the first season, for some reason she always want to bring up the race. She always want to play the race card. This is not the time. Just like in season 1, this is not the time to play the race card. No, she wanted to play the race card this time, talking about they're only questioning her money and her spending because she's a brown girl and her husband is a black guy. Nah, boo, it was not that. Because even the brown and black people that's watching the show was asking the same darn question. So it's not only those white women that's your castmates on the show. Everybody was asking the same question. So you cannot play the race card with that. No. And then to make it worse, you can't even explain to this day. You cannot explain to us. Your husband said he understand it, but you could not explain yet and still to any of us about your businesses. What is it? What do you do? And then you even got upset with Whitney, saying that Whitney, the little breakdown she gave us, which I felt better when Whitney was breaking it down, trying to let us know pretty much how your company or businesses work. But you was upset with Whitney, saying that Whitney didn't know what the heck she was talking about, and that's not how your company works. So yet and still to this day, we have no idea. Besides, the judge the courts are stating that you've been beating elderly people out their money, but you can't explain the business to us. So, and then they even bring up about the ring footage, and so we find out that she's the one who released the ring footage to Bravo. And the footage had showed her son and nephew and other family members being escorted outside of the house with guns drawn on them by the SWAT team. I think it was the FBI, something like that. And yeah, it was very disturbing when I saw it, and I hate that the family and the kids went through that. And so Andy asked the question, well, why did she release that to Bravo? And she said, well, she thought it was something that the world needed to see. Like, even in 2022, this is how they're treating people. Well, I hate that the kids and the family members had to go through that. However, Jen, are you not going to take ownership that they went through this because of you? This is something that happened because of your businesses and what you allegedly have done. So to try to pull the card to say they're only doing this because of it being a brown and black thing, I'm not going to agree with that. It's unfortunate that it happened, but this is one situation where this is what was on you. And when the FBI come and they're dealing with a criminal matter, I would expect them to have their guns out. I don't know. Like I said, I hate that it happened to the children, but I can't say that this was a black or brown situation. I can't say if it was the other color they would not have the guns out. I think it depends on the crime. So I don't know. But I just feel like she tries to play the race card, but she always pulling the card at the wrong time. And then they even asked, okay, did this happen to Stu kids too? And she was like, no, she have no idea if it happened to Stu kids. Maybe it did, and maybe he didn't have a ring video or something to capture it on video. I really hate that it happened to the kids, but I just also hate that she's not taking ownership. Okay, I hate that this happened to them, and it's my fault that it happened. And maybe she is saying that to her family, but I don't know. I need to see that on the camera. So, but Stu, I think he's already been issued his time. He pled guilty. I know they did say he pled guilty, and they're saying that with him and some of the other people that work with her, a lot of them pled guilty and they've already accepted their time. So it's really not looking good for her, and that she's facing up to 50 years in prison. Um, and of course, her husband mentioned that it's pretty much making her depressed, like she's staying in bed all day. Of course, that's understandable because this is some heavy stuff. Um, I hope everything works out for her for the good and for her family, but we all know how that goes. So that pretty much was it. They do carry on the show a little more after the guys leave off, and then they have the ladies still chatting it up about how Jen and Meredith and Lisa and whoever else was not getting along. But that's pretty much it for the season. And we'll see these same ladies for season 3 whenever it airs, probably later on during this year. But we won't see Jenny Wynn. She got fired for being racist. We won't see Mary, I think it was Crosby, because she quit the show. And I guess they're not going to let her come back. And she did a lot of racist stuff too, but they didn't fire Mary. But they definitely fired Jenny Wynn for some things that she had posted out there on social media. And I guess Mary bailed out because of all the cult issues, and then it came out allegedly that she had been sleeping with one of her church members, and also her church was allegedly a cult, and they had been beating people out their money. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, but that what made the show interesting. So we'll see what happens with season 3. I heard that they have a couple of new people on there, and maybe they'll be interesting too. It seemed like the only thing that really make them interesting if they got something devious going on. That's sad, but that's what we look for, right? For entertainment. Well, that was Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 2, reunion part 3, the last part. Okay, thank you guys so much for checking out my channel, and I hope you continue to have a great day. Bye.